Hello guys. This is part 28 of ASP.NET Web API tutorial. In this video, we will discuss the benefit of social logins and using Google authentication with ASP.NET Web API. So here is what we want to do on our login page. We want to include this button. Logging with Google. Once we click this button, the application redirect us to Google sign-in page where we provide our Google credentials, and once we are successfully authenticated by Google, it is going to redirect us back to our application where we can see the protected data. In our case, protected data is employees data. Let's look at this in action. Notice on this login page. We have got this button, logging with Google. Once I click this button, notice we are redirected to the Google sign-in page. Now let's logging with our Google credentials. I'm going to use this username to andromedagalaxy@gmail.com. Let's provide our Google password. Once I click next, I am successfully authenticated by Google. And at this point, Google is asking for my permission to all the application to view the data that Google is holding about myself. So I allow the applications. So at this point means I click this continue. So at this point we are redirected back to our application, and we are on data.html. And notice what the message says here. Hello to andromedagalaxy@gmail.com. So this is the username. That I have used to authenticate myself with Google. And now when I click load employees, I can see the employee data. Once we click the log off button, we are logged out and back on the logging page. And if you look at these two tables, ASP.NET users and ASP.NET user logins, notice in both of these tables we have got an entry for our Google login. Look at the email. Look at the email address. This is the same email address that we have used to authenticate ourselves with Google. And look at the password hash column. Password hash columns. This is null, so we don't have to write any code to manage username and password and authenticate users. All this is done by external authentication provider. In this case, the external authentication provider is Google. So what are the benefits of using social logins like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, etc. for application user registration? Is simple. And easy. All they have to provide is their social login, username and password, and the user is automatically registered with our application. This also means one less password for the user to remember when user don't have to remember multiple user names and password to log into multiple websites. There will be less failed logging. As you know, remembering multiple usernames and password, it is definitely a hassle from the development point of view. We do not have to write code to manage username and password. All this is done by the external authentication providers like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, etc. To use Google authentication, first we have to register our application with Google. To register our application with Google, let's navigate to URL console.developer.google.com. First of all, we need to delete this entry from here. Execute it. And we need to close this and close this also, and go to the browser again and type in console.developers.google.com, and we are already logged in, so we don't need to again logged in. So what we need to do, go to the credential, I have already created a my applications, so I don't need to create it again, but to show you this step, this step how to create your applications, click here and new project. Here you should specify the name of the application. I am going to name our project Employee Web API Service, so you should specify Employee Web API Service here and leave it no organization as it is, because I have created the application. So I am clicking this cancel button. And the next point is I'm click the credentials and then click on under this create credentials, click on OAuth client ID. So now then you from the list, our application type is web application, so click at this. So keep your application name web application. So I'm just showing you these steps to create your application and the authorized Java origin script. Now what you have to do, we have left this web client 3 default. Then we need to specify the authorized JavaScript origin. Here you need to scroll down and click this and specify the port number here. Means here you have to type http:// and the port number. Where is the port number? We need to run our application. Okay, it is showing me this. So build the solution from here. And reload the application. Okay, the port number is this one, 44349. So our application is running at this URI localhost :44349. So basically the authorized origin is nothing but the origin where your application is running. So let's specify the URI right here. Means http localhost :44349. It is saying invalid, but if you look at here, this is 4439. So I have already created it. So it is saying that it is invalid. STD okay. And then we also need to specify the authorized redirect URI, and the redirect URI is going to be localhost. Scroll down. Localhost :44349 / sign in dash Google. This is the authorized redirect URI to which this is the URI to which the user will be redirected after he is successfully authenticated by Google. And notice here, after clicking the create button, we get client ID and client secret. So because I have already created this authorized redirect URIs and authorized JavaScript's origin, so you have to click this create button, but I have already created, so I am clicking this. And if you go here, credential tab, here is the my created application, my created client ID and creation date, and this is the client secret. So and to client ID and client secret, to enable Google authentication for our ASP.NET Web API service. In just a bit, we will see how we are going to use both of these, client ID and client secret. There is one more last thing that we need to do here. Here we need to enable Google Plus API service. To enable that, click on library. So as you can see, this is the client ID and client secret. So go to the library, and to enable the Google Plus API, scroll down. Here is the socials Google Plus API. So if I click this shows Google Plus API is enabled. Okay. So these are all these steps. So these are all the steps to register our application with Google. Now let's see what we need to do from the web API service side to use Google authentication. First, we need to enable Google authentication. To enable Google authentications, open this startup.auth.cs. Please go to and open startup.auth.cs. Scroll down. Here you can see this coding portion, the code block that enables Google authentication. This is commented. So let's uncomment this. And we need to specify client ID and client secret. We got both of these after we have registered our application with Google. So let's go to Google console, and then go to the Google console and then click here, click this and copy this client ID. Copy this and paste it here, client ID. And similarly, copy this client secret and paste it here. Next we want logging with Google button on our logging page. So go to login HTML and so let's open login.html page, and just after the existing user login table, we want this after existing user login table, we want this social logging table. So to speed things up, I'm going to copy the HTML. I'm going to copy this HTML and paste it right here. And then change the bits that are required. So the text is going to say social logging. Text is going to say social logging. We don't need any button or anchor element. Let's remove them from there. We don't need this column span here. So let's get rid of that as well. And here we just need one TR. We don't need all these TRs. So let's delete all of them. And within this TR, let's include a TD. Then we need a button for Google logging. Then we need a button for Google logging. So let's include an input element of type button. Let's give it an ID. Input type button. Let's give it an ID. Let's call BTN Google logging. The value on the button is logging with Google. The value on this button is logging with Google. And let's use the Bootstrap class. BTN success. Let's save our changes. Let's save our changes. Reload our logging page. Go to the browser. Reload our logging page. Notice now we see logging with Google button. Let's now wire up click event handler for our logging with Google button. The ID is button. The ID is BTN Google login. Click wire up click event handler. So let's use id. Find the button and then wire up the click event handler. So what is supposed to happen when we click this logging with Google button? When we click this logging with Google button, we want the user to be redirected to the Google sign-in page. So window.location.href. So window.location.href equals some redirection URI. So where we are going to get that URL from. To get that URL, we are going to issue a GET request to this URL right here. We are going to issue a GET request to this URL. Localhost :port number 43449/API/account/external logging, and then we have got couple of query string parameters. So issue a GET request to this URL, which is going to give us another URL, and we will specify that as a value, and we will specify that as a value here. Before we issue a GET request, let's give our solution a build. Give a solution a build. Build succeeded. Now let's go ahead and issue a GET request to this URL right here. So once we issue a GET request to this URL, look at what we are getting back. We are getting another URL right here. So this is the URL. That we want to redirect the user to when we click that logging with Google button. So I'm going to copy that URL and then specify that here. So copy this and go to the notepad and paste it here. Copy this URL. And paste it right here. Now if you notice the URL right here, we have got a query string. We have got a query string parameter which says redirect, which say redirect URI. So basically this parameter specify the URL that we want to redirect the user to after he is successfully authenticated by Google. So this URL is encoded here. That is the reason why we can't read it easily, but I am going to copy it until here. So I am going to copy this until here, So this last 5 numbers here, 44349, that is the port number at which our application is running. I'm going to copy the redirect URI, which is URL encoded, and I am going to decode that. Now to decode the URL, simply type in Google URL encode and decode. URL encode and decode, and paste the encoded URL right here, and let's decode that. So this is our redirection URI, http://localhost:443449. Now in our case, what we want to do is we actually want the user to be redirected to our login.html page after he is successfully authenticated by Google. So I'm going to specify this as the redirection URL. So let's copy that. So let's copy that, paste it right here. And then let's encode the URL. So the encoded URL, let's take it. And then I'm going to specify it as the value right here. So instead of redirecting it to the root applications root, I'm actually going to redirect after the user is authenticated by Google to login.html page. All right, HTML page. So let's save our changes. And we also need to do one more change in application OAuth provider files. You can find this file in provider folder. So let's open the file, and we want to make a change in validate client redirection URI method. So again, here the redirection URI is specified. As the root. Redirections URI is specified as the root of our application. Instead of that, I am actually going to redirect the user back onto our application. logging.html page. Let's give our application a build. Build succeeded. And let's log out of the Google account. Let's log out of the Google account. And now let's click logging with Google button. We expected it to redirect us to Google sign-in page, but we are getting invalid request error. This is because if you look at the redirect URI query string parameters, redirect URI string query parameter, the value for this means redirect URI parameters, query string parameters. The value for this is this. Notice after logging.html, we have these encoded character %2f. These encoded characters stand for a forward slash. So let's copy the redirect URI. Copy this redirect URI value. Let's go to URL encode decode tool. Go to URL encode decode tools. Let's click this start over links. Let's click this start over link and let's paste our encoded URL right here. Click this decode URL button. Notice at the end we have got a forward slash, but if you look at this file right here, application OAuth provider.cs validate client redirect URI. Notice in the redirection URL right here at the end we don't have a forward slash. So there are two ways to fix this error. One way is to include a forward slash here. The other way is to remove the forward slash from here. From here, let's remove the encoded characters. Let's remove the encoded character. From here, save our changes. reload reload our login page, and now let's click login with Google button. Notice now we are redirected to the Google sign-in page. So let's provide our Google credential now. Means here I click at my first email ID to andromedagalaxy@gmail.com, and then provide the password. Click next button. That takes to us to the security page, from where we click the continue button, and now we are redirected back to login.html. And look at the URL. To the URL we have the access token. Appended. So we need to retrieve this access token from the URL and need to do a few things. First, let's write a JavaScript function that is going to retrieve the access token from the URL. We are going keep all our Google authentication related JavaScript function in a separate file. So let's right click here, add JavaScript file. Let's name this Google authentication. Click OK. And we are going to make use of jQuery. So let's drag and drop. So let's make use of jQuery. And let's write our function. Let's call this functions get access token. Function get access token. From the URL, let's use location.hash. Location .hash. From the URL, let's use location.hash. So basically this is going to check if the URL has got a hash. If the URL has got a hash in it, notice within our URL, after hash we have got the access token. After hash we have the access token. So location dot hash is going to return us the hash and whatever we have after the hash. Okay, so if location dot hash is to the, meaning there is a hash in the URL, and if location dot hash dot split, and we are going to split using these string access token equal location dot hash dot split and we are going to split using the string access token. Access token equal so we want to split it using that. So again if this is to the, meaning if the hash fragment, if this hash fragment if this hash fragment has got this access token, equal, then we want to split it. So if it is to the, then what we want to do, let's actually split it. So let's create a variable. Let's call it access token. Equals location dot hash dot split access token equals access token equals. So what is this split function is going to do? It is going to return us a string array. with the two strings in it. This string at index position 0 is going to contain access token equals, and this string at index position 1 will contain the access token value. And in the URL, in addition access token, in the URL, in addition to access token, we also have few other query string parameters. We also have few other query string parameters. Notice here we have token types. Notice here we have token type, expire ins, and date. And state. Okay. And we also now we don't need all those query string parameters, so we want only the access token value. So we want to further split this string. That we have at index position 1. So take this string at index position 1 and then call again the split function. So go to the coding. And let's call again the split function. And at this time we want to split it using the ampersand character. So the access token value ends here. So the access token value ends here. And we have an ampersand, there. So we want to split it at that point. So let's split it using ampersand, and let's take the string at index position 0. And let's take this string at index position 0. So this is going to give us the access token. So this is going to give us the access token. So now we are going to do another check if access token is to the, if we have a value in this access token variable. So now we are going to do another check if access token is to the, if we have a value in this access token variable. In this access token variable, Then what we want to do is call another function is user registered. We don't have this JavaScript function yet. We will create that in just a bit. We don't have this JavaScript function yet. We will create that in just a bit. So basically this function is going to check whether if the user who is authenticated by Google is already registered with our application. So to check if a user is already registered with our application, let's issue a GET request to another URL using Fiddler. So go to the Fiddler. Compose. We are going to issue a GET request. So we have Fiddler fired up here to check if the authenticated user is registered with our application. We are going to issue a GET request to /API /API/account/user info. We also need to send the access token to the server using authorization header. We also need to send the access token to the server using authorization header. Since the access token is a bearer token, we also have to use the bearer word and then the access token value. We have got the access token in the URL, so let's copy it from the URL. So the access token value starts from here. And within the URL, we have another query string parameter as well, token type, expire since, etc. We don't need all of need all those query string parameter. We just need the access token value, which ends here. So we'll copy from here. To there. So let's copy it and paste it right here. Let's paste it right here. Let's execute the request. What happened to it? We are getting an error here. Why is this so? Spelling is wrong here. Okay. BEAR ER. Now execute it. So notice the request completed successfully, and look at the response we got. Look at the response. We got a JSON object, and look at this property. Has registered. This is set to false. So basically the user who is authenticated by Google is not yet registered with our application. So the function that we are going to write now is going to issue a GET request to this URI. Issue a GET request to this URI, and check if the user is registered with our application. If the user is already registered with our application, then it is going to store the access token and username in browser local storage, and then redirect the user to protected areas within our application. In our case, he will be redirected to data.html. In case if he is not registered, this function is going to call another function which we are yet to implement, and that function will have the code to register the external user. So first let's implement is user registered function, which is going to check if the user is registered with our application. We are back in Google authentication.js file. Let's implement is user registered function. To this function we are also passing the access tokens. So the first thing that we want to do here is issue an AJAX call. Let's specify the AJAX functions. Let's specify the AJAX function. The first thing we want to specify is the URL. The URL to which we want to issue a request is right here, /API/account /API/accounts/userinfo. And to that URL we want to issue a GET request. So userinfo and to that URL we want to issue a GET request. So method is GET method. GET method. And we also need to specify headers. First, let's specify content type header. Content type is application/JSON. And let's also specify authorization header. The value for this is this word bearer followed by single space. You have to give a single space, and then to that we will append the access token. Which is coming into this function, which is coming into this function as a parameter. And when the request completes successfully, we want to handle the response that comes back from the user using this success function. We want to handle the response that comes back from the server using this success function. So let's pass the response to the function, and the first thing that we want to do here is check has registered. Is check has registered property. Notice once we issue a get request, to this URL, and the response we get this hash registered, property which tell us if the authenticated user is registered with our application or not. If the user is registered with our application, then we want to store the access token and the username in local storage, and then redirect the user to data.html page. So local storage dot set item. So local storage dot set item, and redirect the user to data.html page. So local storage dot set item, let's use the key access token. So this is the same key that we are using on the logging page. Here it is. And we are getting the access token from the parameter, and we are getting the access token from the parameter here. Similarly, within local storage, let's do username as well. Let's use the key as the username, and where are we going to get the username from? Means copy and paste it here. Right here, username. And where are we going to get the username from? We get the username from the response object, from the response object using the email property. So let's use the response object email property, and then finally we want to redirect the user. So response dot email property. Response dot email property. It should be and then finally we want to redirect the user to data.html page. So window.location.hrefs. Location dot hrefs is equal to data.html. So if the user is successfully, if the user is registered with our application, this is what we want to do. If the user is not registered, if the user is not registered with our application, then we want to register the user. So to register the user, we are going to call another JavaScript function. Let's call it sign up external user, and to this let's pass the access token. Sign up external user. Let's pass the access token. We will implement the sign up external user function in just a bit. First, let's look at the URL that we need to issue a request to register the external user here. Here is the URL. Here is the unexpected line 2. Function get access token. Functions, functm functions. get access token. Okay, we need to issue a request to register the external user is the URL /API/account/register external. To this URL, we need to issue a post request. First, let's make a copy of this function. Why this is showing an error? Function get access token method if location.hash dot split functions correct variable access location dot split access token 1 dot split. This is correct. Then why it is showing an error? Get ACCA access token. No, I made no mistake here. So why it is showing? Is it capital or not? Line 3 and line 24. Unexpected. But where I do get this? Okay, let me copy and paste from here. Okay. Let's make a copy of this. Copy of this function is user registered, and then change the bit that are required. So copy it and paste it below this, and then change the bits that are required. First of all, the name of the function is sign up external user. Sign up external user to which we are passing the access token. And then we want to issue a request to this URL, Copy this. What is happened to it? So let's copy that and specify it right here. And to this URL, we want to issue a post request. Instead of a GET request. The header are going to be the same. And when the request completes successfully, that is when the user is registered successfully with our application. We want to redirect him to Google sign-in page. That is the same page to which we redirect the user when we click login with Google button. That is present in our login.html page. So I am going to copy this line of code right from here. And paste it. And then paste it right here. So what is this sign up external user function doing? This registers the user with our application and then redirects him to Google sign-in page. Redirects him to Google sign-in page. We also need to make a change in register external function. This function is present in account controller. So let's go to account controller. And here is the register external function. So go little bit down. Here is the register external function. First of all, we don't need this parameter register external binding model. So remove it. So we don't need that register external binding model parameter. So let's get rid of that. We don't need this if block. So let's get rid of that as well. And to get the email property value, we are going to make use of this info. Object instead of the model object. We have already deleted the model object, so it is no longer available. But to get the email property value, let's use the info object. which also has the same email property, and let's go to logging page. Means paste it here. And let's go to logging page and let's reference this Google authentication.js file in our login.html page. This script file, go to logging. And reference this Google.authentications file. What is happening to it? Okay. Come on. Okay. Let's reference this Google authentication.js file on our logging.html page. This script file is present in script folder. We have done that. Just after, so let's drag and drop this just after the jQuery file here, and then within our ready function, let's call get access token. Get access token. Get access token function. Now let's look at the flow. Let's see what happens, when we logging with our Google credentials. So on logging.html page, we have the logging with Google button. We have logging btn Google login. When we click the button, we send the user to Google sign-in page, means Google sign-in page. Here, when we click this button, we send the user to Google sign-in page. So the user logging with his Google credentials. Once that is successful, Google will redirect the user back to login.html page. That is the same page with access token appended to the URL. And on this page, login.html page, we are calling get access token function. Get access token function. And what is this? And what is this function get access token is doing? It retrieves the access token. It retrieves the access token from the URL, and then calls the is user registered function, passing it the access token. And what is this is user register function doing? It checks if the external user is registered locally with our application. If he is already registered with our application, then it is going to store access token. Then it is going to store the access token and username, access token and username in the browser local storage, and redirect him to the data page. Where he can see employees data. In our case, the external user is not yet registered with our application, so in this case it is going to call sign up. So it is going to call sign up external user function, passing it again the access token, passing it again the access token. And what is the sign up external user function doing? It registered that external user, the external user, with our application by issuing a post request to this URL. And once the user is successfully registered, it redirects us back to the Google sign up page. And this time again the access token method will be called. Access token method will be called. It retrieves the access token. From the URL, and then this time the user is already registered with our application. It is going to store the access token. It is going to register. It is going to store the access token, username, and browser local storage, and then redirect the user to data.html page where he can see employees data. So with all these changes, let's give our application a build. Build succeeded. Now let's go back to logging.html page. We are already logged in with this email address, 2andromeda@gmail.com. If you are not already logged in with your email, then again give your credential. Means go to the browser and reload it. It is saying your connection is not secured. So for that, I need to close this fiddler right now. Now I'll get okay. If I click this login with Google button, so it means I am already logged in with this email address, 2andromedagalaxy@gmail.com. And notice to the URL the access token is appended. So at this point, when we look at these two tables, ASP.NET user, ASP.NET user login, we don't have means if we go here, but now I have clicked the button, so I have got the entry now. if I execute it, so I got the entry now. So look at what is going to happen. We are redirected to .html. We have already done that. And look at the message, hello to Andromeda Galaxy. We have shown that. And then I click load employees. If I click the, go back to the browser. If I click the load employees, we can see the employees data. At this point, if we look at these two tables, notice there is an entry for, notice there is entry for to Andromeda Galaxy at gmail.com in both of these tables. So this external user, so this external user is now registered with our application. Now let's log out of Gmail, and let's also log out of our application. So I have already logged out, and we need to log off from here. At this point, we click logging with Google. Logging with Google. But it is showing me I am not logged out from that email ID. So what we need to do, we need to remove account from here. No. But it is not sign out me. So what to do? What I need to do here? Okay. What has it gone? Google Cloud. So I need to log out from here. Okay. And now go back to the and reload this and logging with. Okay. So we log out of our application and log out of our Gmail ID. So we have clicked the login with Google button. It is going to redirect us to Google sign-in page. Let's log in with another Gmail ID. I'm using this ID and giving it password and click next. Notice it is asking to whether to cancel or continue. Let's continue it, and now we are redirected back to data.html. It identified that I am logged in with anyguest24@gmail.com, and we can see the employees data as well. So at this point, if we look at these two tables, we have an entry for anyguest24@gmail.com. So go back to the SQL Server Management Studio, execute it. So we have got we have an entry for anyguess24@gmail.com. We are back on this slide. Let's quickly recap. Let's quickly recap these steps to use Google authentication. First, we have to register our application with Google. To register the application with Google, go to console.developers. Go to console.developer.google.com. Step 2, in startup.auth.cs file that you can find in app_start folder. Uncomment this block of code. Include client ID and client secret that you have got after registering your application with Google. This block of code enables Google authentication for our ASP.NET Web API service. Step 3, in login.html page, include this HTML table. Which display login with Google button. Step 4, wire up click event handler for logging with Google button. When we click login with Google button, we are redirecting the user to Google sign up page to get the redirection URL. Each way get request to this URL right here. Step 5, modify validate client redirect URI method to redirect the user to login.html page after the user is authenticated by Google. You can find this method in application OAuth provider.cs file in the provider folder. Notice here we have changed the redirection URL to /login.html instead of just the /. Let's step 6. Step 6, add a JavaScript file to scripts folder. Name it Google authentication.js and include these 3 JavaScript functions. Get access token, which retrieves the access token from the URL. Is user registered? This function check if the user authenticated by Google is already registered locally with our application. Sign up external user function. This function registered the external user with our application, and here we have got get access token. Here is user registered. Here is user registered function, and finally sign up external function. Finally sign up external user function. Step 7. Step 7 in account controller.cs modify register external method. Register external method to remove the parameter register external binding model parameter, and we also remove the if block from here. If block, if model state dot is valid code block from there, and then we are using info object instead of model object to retrieve the external user email. Here we use the info object instead of model object to retrieve the external user email. And finally, logging.html page. And finally, logging.html page. Reference Google authentications. Reference Google authentication.js file and call get access token function. So those are all the steps required to use Google authentication with ASP.NET Web API. Thank you for listening and have a great day.